Our thoughts to the people of Florida. I spent most of last week there covering this disaster, which is very, very serious, which it sort of begs the question, what's Marco Rubio up to?
Well, that's a really good question, Allie. You know, I chair the subcommittee through Homeland Security on emergency preparedness, response, and recovery. And we have been on the ground here. We had a meeting with the FEMA administration assessing the damage. I had just gotten back a week or so ago from Puerto Rico, looking at the damage there from Hurricane Fiona, and came back to Ian. And you know, I saw you covering this just tragedy in Southwest Florida that was hit hard. We had flooding here. I'm not sure what Marco Rubio is doing other than playing politics. You know, to not show up to vote when you already have a reputation of being the absentee senator, to not show up to vote is almost worse than showing up and voting wrong. But then you ask for additional hurricane relief, and then you praise the Biden administration for their response. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I know politics is at the core of it. And Florida, whose people are struggling, as you all know, need more right now than a senator who simply knows how to play politics.
I also want to talk about where Florida's Republican leaders have been on climate issues. It hits up against a wall when during a hurricane you start talking about climate stuff. But Senator Marco Rubio and Rick Scott voted against last year's bipartisan infrastructure law, which devotes some $50 billion to help states better prepare for events like Ian, because they said it was wasteful. It provided billions of dollars for seawalls, storm pumps, elevating homes, flood control, and other projects. Many of those measures were co-written by another coastal Republican, Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who called that bill a major victory for Louisiana and our nation. What's up with Florida on this one? This is important. Everything I saw last week indicated to me that storm walls and raising houses and storm pumps and flood control might have saved lives.
Ellie, you're absolutely correct. I mean, the bipartisan infrastructure deal, as you've indicated, had billions of dollars that could go to really helping to improve our resiliency, but ultimately dealing with climate change. And, you know, the experts say, no, climate change does not create a hurricane. But because of the ocean waters, when the ocean waters become warmer as a result of global warming, then the storms become more intense, bigger, more devastating. And Lord knows we have certainly seen that right here in Florida. Unbelievable flooding in Miami, where Marco Rubio lives. But Marco Rubio has said the climate's always changing, that he doesn't have a plan to deal with the weather. That is just really shameful. So the only thing I can think of, again, Marco Rubio is in denial. Florida certainly deserves better, especially when Floridians are hurting. Look, I'm running for the United States Senate. If Floridians are interested in having someone who's going to address their issues, especially when they're in trouble, I'm asking them to vote for me. My website is ValDemings.com.
Let me ask you about the status of the situation in Florida. We've had more than 100 confirmed deaths now. There may be more to come. You've seen it. I mean, there are people who are they get passed by. They get forgotten. These storms don't treat everybody the same. There are people who don't have insurance, who have lost their cars, which is an impossibility to get around Southwest Florida. What do we do? What do we do? Because we move away, right? We go away and everybody sort of forgets that it was last week's news. But it's not last week's news, and it won't be for many, many months for a lot of Floridians.
Ellie, as you well know, I spent 27 years as a law enforcement officer. I was on duty in 2004 during Hurricanes Charlie, Francis, and Jean. I'm more than familiar with hurricanes and the unbelievable devastation that they leave behind. But what we have seen with Ian has just been hard to deal with. You've seen the devastation in Southwest Florida. There are people who have lost everything. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, we've toured some of the underserved areas right here in Central Florida. And, you know, people, regardless of who they are, how much money they have, what their zip code is, the color of their skin, when they are in trouble, our job as government officials are to help them recover. And what we've seen is that in underserved areas, including rural areas in Florida, many times the infrastructure is not there to begin with, or if it is, it is shoddy construction. And so we have got to do better. We've certainly seen those issues here. We've got to help people rebuild, become more resilient, regardless of who they are or where they live.